What? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel of RAFscents. I hope you guys are doing well today. And for this video, we're going to be talking about fragrances that don't deserve to be in their respective categories, both good and bad. I'm thinking niche fragrances that don't really deserve to be niche, but designer fragrances that really do deserve to be niche. You know, we've all run across these things, and especially when we talk about fragrances, oftentimes we put niche fragrances as like the upper tier of all fragrances. While that may be true for a lot of fragrances, that's not true for every one of them. There are some absolutely amazing designer fragrances that should be up there in the niche world because of how good they smell, how unique they smell, how long they last, all of those things. But at the same time, we also know that there are some niche fragrances that are basic, or maybe they just plain suck, or maybe they just smell like butt. So we're going to talk about 7 fragrances, 4 designers that should be niche, and 3 niche that should be not niche. All right, check these out. Now, the first fragrance on this list is a designer scent that is 100% niche quality. I absolutely love it. It was only released a couple of years ago, and it is probably my wife's second favorite fragrance that I own. It is from Dior. It is Sauvage Elixir. Now, I know this could be an arguable entry, and I get it. And in terms of the other designer fragrances that will appear on this list, this one has the most simplistic scent profile on here. That doesn't mean that it's simplistic in and of itself, but it's simplistic because of the fact that so many people have this fragrance today, okay? It's wildly popular, but it is so freaking good. So it's got some really nice top notes of some nutmeg, cardamom, and cinnamon, a beautiful lavender, and also as it dries off, you get some licorice, sandalwood, amber, and patchouli. That's when the maturity of this fragrance really shines through, and that's exactly what this one is. As a matter of fact, is a very mature version of the Dior Sauvage. You know, the Dior Sauvage, even the Eau de Parfum and the Parfum, they just have very youthful presentations. Not this one right here. I think that a lot of guys in their mid to late 20s, that's when you'll really start pulling this one off very well. Now, what makes this one niche quality? I will tell you this. The price for this fragrance is like it's a niche bottle already. I paid $165 for this 2-ounce bottle. This is 60 milliliters. I paid $165 or $165, and now they sell it in 100 ml bottles for around $210 to $240. I'm telling you what, I would still pay that because of how much I love this. But it is, as you're seeing, a niche priced bottle. Now, having said that, the performance on this one is scary how good it is. 2 sprays, you never, ever spray this on more than twice. You will absolutely kill people. People will be able to smell you from a mile down the road if you spray more than twice. And it will stay on your skin for easily 12 hours. I'm telling you guys, this one performs. This one smells great. Yeah, you're going to be paying quite a bit of money, but even this small bottle, I'm never going to go through this entire bottle myself. I promise you guys are absolutely going to love this if you have not smelled it already. But the Sauvage Elixir, niche quality right there. Boom. Next up for fragrance number 2, we have a niche fragrance that I think misses the mark of excellence. This one is not very good, and I would recommend you to not buy it unless you just happen to fall in love with it when you smell it. From the house of Creed of all companies, we have Creed Viking Cologne. There it is. I got a lot of glare. Whatever. Creed Viking Cologne. Now, I did not actually buy this bottle. This bottle was gifted to me by a company in order to review. I did fulfill my obligations with them a while back, and I will tell you this, it is not worth the price because being a Creed fragrance, this is retailing at about $480. And it only lasts about 5 hours. That is absolute bullcrap. On top of that, it's got a pretty basic scent profile, very citrusy on the top and in its initial presentation. Mandarin orange, lemon, and bergamot. It's got some really nice lavender in the middle, but that's about where the niceties stop. You've got some sandalwood and cedar, some vetiver and patchouli in the base. But those are only minor players, even though they are base notes. But it only performs for about 5 hours. Yeah, it's a very fresh summer fragrance, but it is not worth the price whatsoever. If you would like something that is, what I think this fragrance should be in life, I would go back with Dior. We're going with Dior Homme Sport. There it is. The Dior Homme Sport. I talked about this one a couple of weeks ago. And this one is citrusy and fresh. It's got some really nice woody notes, but this one, guys, it's about $100 and it lasts between 6 and 8 hours. Much better than this $480 pretentious, don't get it, okay? Get this one instead. But this one is this one's a niche fragrance that definitely missed the mark, okay? Creed Viking Cologne. Don't get it. Now it's time for fragrance number 3, which is another designer scent that is in the upper echelon and worthy of being considered a niche level fragrance. It performs remarkably well. It has a very unique scent profile, especially when you compare it to everything else that's available in the designer fragrance world. This is Moschino's Toy Boy. Now, admittedly, this is not one that I reach for very often, but when I'm being as objective as possible, I will say that this is incredibly unique, like I said, when compared to what you think of in terms of designer fragrances. I'm only going to talk about the 3 big notes that you get in here, which are bergamot, pink pepper, and rose. It is citrusy, it is very, very, very floral and spicy, and it is not subtle in its presentation at all. This one, if you're not careful, will absolutely punch people and has the possibility to be a little bit abrasive whenever people first smell it on you. But I promise you, it is very elegant, okay? And guys, don't be afraid of floral scents, man. Don't be afraid of floral scents. Now, that is the scent profile that makes this worthy of being considered niche level. Also, the performance is outstanding. You get 2, maybe 3 sprays depending on the day, and you will be smelling like Moschino Toy Boy from anywhere to 10 to 14 hours, okay? It is super long lasting, okay? Absolutely on the niche level. There are some niche fragrances that have strong floral notes like this and still do not last quite as long. Also, a lot of times they are more subtle in their presentation. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when you're looking for something that's going to be a lot more unique, sometimes you need to be a little punchy with your scent. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're going to get out of this one. And lastly, you've got the price point. The price point is not niche. The price point is absolutely affordable. We're talking between $30 and $60 depending on the size of the bottle and also depending on where you find it. But Moschino's Toy Boy, go ahead and check it out. All right, guys, it's time for fragrance number 4, and you probably ought to prepare yourselves because this one may piss you off a little bit. I've already prepared myself, knowing the fact that I'm getting ready to talk about a niche fragrance that I think missed the mark. It fell short. It is not worth the hype that it gets. I'm probably going to lose a couple of followers. If you need to vent your frustrations in the comments below, feel free to do so. I could always use the engagement, but this is even harder for me because it's from one of my favorite niche houses, Parfums de Marly. This one is Percival. That's right, my friends. I think this one is basic. At least in terms of Parfums de Marly's lines of fragrances, this one is basic. It's got a citrusy opening with some mandarin orange and some bergamot and lavender. Okay, those aren't bad in and of themselves. You've got some greenish floral notes in the middle with some violet and jasmine, and then the muskiness, the ambroxan, the amberwood down there at the bottom. All in all, it's a very soapy, clean, fresh, professional fragrance. Does it smell bad? Hell no, it doesn't smell bad. It smells pretty good. But is it unique? No. Is it groundbreaking? I don't think so. This is like a slightly stepped up version of something like Prada L'Homme. Okay, Prada L'Homme is also basic. Smells great, but it's also very basic, and I think that this one is as well. Now, it performs. It gets about 8 hours of longevity. It does project. It's great for the summertime, and like I said, you do have some versatility and professionalism in this bottle. But is it worth it for the scent profile, especially when you're paying anywhere between $225 to $285 for the smaller bottle, depending on where you find it, of course, depending on what website you go to, all this and that. I still don't think it's worth the price. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, okay? Parfums de Marly, Percival, it doesn't get a passing grade for me as far as niche fragrances go. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. I don't even know what that means. I'm just telling you. Sorry, Parfums de Marly. Moving right along, we have fragrance number 5, another niche level designer scent that is my most complimented fragrance of all time. Listen to Uncle Jesse. The universe is speaking to you, saying, listen to Jesse. He knows what he's talking about. My friends, once you get your nose on this fragrance, and you have to get your nose on this fragrance, because once you do, you're going to want to add it into your collection. I promise. From the House of Bulgari, it is Man in Black. It is the fall and winter fragrance that is boozy, it's bold, it's daring, and I promise it's going to bring out a different level of confidence in you that few fragrances can do. Yes! Oh, it smells so freaking good, man. What makes this niche quality, okay? The longevity, yeah, it's kind of there at about 6 to 6.5 hours. Not the greatest, especially when you take it into account with like the Sauvage Elixir and the Toy Boy, you know, not nearly that type of performance. It does project pretty well, but where it stands out is in the scent profile. It's got rum and tobacco and some other spices in the top notes. And then as it dries down, you've got some leather, you've got a little bit of iris in there, adding to the overall elegance of the fragrance. And then you've got tonka bean, benzoin, and gaiac wood, which is kind of like oud right down there at the bottom. So it's very deep. It's a little bit resinous, but it is, you know, it is definitely shining when it comes to the tobacco, the leather, and the rum, okay? But the other thing I really like about this is while it is a bit of a bad boy scent, you do have that tonka bean and you do have that iris in there. And if you've ever seen me review other fragrances where iris is the main note, we're talking things like Gentleman Givenchy, the Reserve Privé, we're talking things like the Dior Homme Intense. Iris is a very elegant and very classy note for a guy to wear. So while this is very rebellious in its presentation, there is this underlying sense that some people are not going to be able to put their finger on, but they're going to know it's there. There's just this underlying sense of a gentleman, of a classy guy. Guys, I'm telling you what, Bulgari Man in Black, this is 100% niche quality. Please, please, please listen to Uncle Jesse. Find a way to get your nose on this fragrance. You're going to love it. Well, damn, I'm sorry to say that we got to follow that really good entry up with a niche fragrance that sucks. You know, I'm sorry to say this is a niche fragrance that I would absolutely not recommend buying. Now, this company did send this fragrance to me free of charge about a year ago. I reviewed it. I did my due diligence, but you know, they were super nice, super kind, and I would recommend sampling their fragrances, but sample some other ones. Do yourselves a favor and skip out on this one. It is from the House of Alexander J. This one's called the Majestic Oud. This is from their Art Deco collection. And as oud fragrances go, it misses badly. And where this one really just gets off the rails is in its note breakdown and scent profile. It just doesn't make sense. You know, when you think of oud fragrances, you think of Tom Ford's Oud Wood. You think of some spicy oud like John Varvatos oud. Sometimes you think of an earthy type of oud like Thameen carved oud, something like that. This one right here, though, it doesn't even smell like oud. You've got very fruity top notes, and I mean fruity, fruity, fruity. Blackcurrant, raspberry, apple, bergamot, melon, lemon. All of those are actual top notes. And then the oud is in the bottom along with some amber and musk, and there's some patchouli in there as well. But it doesn't smell like oud. It actually smells more like mesquite wood. It smells like you're barbecuing, you're standing out next to a smoker while, you know, somebody's smoking some ribs or somebody's smoking some barbecue, something like that. It doesn't smell like oud at all. Now, some of you guys may like that, okay? If you do, if you're a fan of mesquite wood and smelling like mesquite wood, I'd absolutely recommend buying this. But it just doesn't make sense with the top notes. It doesn't make sense with the oud that doesn't smell like oud. I'm just not a fan. It lasts a decent amount of time. I'm talking 7-8 hours or whatever, but I can't get behind the way this one smells. Luckily, they don't charge very much for it. I'm talking $70 to $100. So you can find this on some discount websites for pretty cheap if you decide you want to purchase a bottle of this. I say no, but fragrance is subjective. You may like it. Last fragrance on the list, we have one that is yet another niche level designer fragrance. I'm telling you what, this is an absolutely beautiful and artistic fragrance from my favorite house, Dior. I'm going with a second Dior on this list. I can't help it. I love those guys. This one is Dior Fahrenheit Le Parfum. I'm telling you what, I also would like to say that this is the single best blind buy that I have ever made. And that's coming from a guy that blind bought Xerjoff Naxos. But here's the thing. I knew that I was going to like Xerjoff Naxos. There wasn't a question of if I like Naxos or not. It was just about how much am I going to like it. This one, it was a complete gamble because this is a flanker from the original Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette, the one that everybody says smells like gasoline. Now, it does. Okay, it does. Now, I think it's pretty cool. I like that one. But this one did an absolutely amazing transformation of that original DNA. You've still got some of that violet leaf, leather type of gasoline smell in here, but you've got some licorice, some mandarin orange, some suede, some rum, and vanilla. All of those things put together have just added a certain level of classiness and a certain level of elegance to the original DNA. So I'm telling you, if you are one of the types of people that want to try to write this off simply because it's a Fahrenheit fragrance, let me encourage you, try this one out. I guarantee that you're going to think differently of the line once you smell the Le Parfum, all right? So it's definitely a fall and wintertime fragrance. It is a little bit bad boy in its presentation, but I have worn it out on dates and it does very well. When I say dates, I date my wife. We've been married almost 18 years. We still go on dates and I wear this with her and she really enjoys this scent. It lasts a decent amount of time. It does project quite well. I only go about 4 sprays with it. Now, here's one last downside. This one, it's difficult to find, okay? You're gonna have a hard time finding this, and if you go to some websites, they say it's sold out, you need to request it, be sure that you sign up for their email list to say, notify me when this is made available. I bought this one from Joma Shop, and they did deliver it. I have seen it from time to time on fragrancebuy.ca. Those are really the only places that I've found it. So be on the lookout for it. It's around $120, worth every penny. Dior Fahrenheit Le Parfum. It's got my seal of approval. So what does this all teach us? It shows us that having a label of designer or having a label of niche doesn't mean that it's going to be quality. There are quite a few niche fragrances that totally suck. More than just these 3 fragrances, man, there are plenty out there. But at the same time, just because it's a designer fragrance doesn't mean that it's going to be basic. There are so many designer fragrances out there that smell so much better than niche fragrances. I've even got a couple that are in the $20, $30, $40 range that smell better than some $250 or $300 bottles. Don't let anybody tell you what to like. Don't let any label of a fragrance, trigger your mind to thinking that it's going to be better or worse. Just get your nose on it, try some things out, and don't be afraid to like what you like. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure you like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Can't wait to see you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Much love.